All right, let's dive right in. We're about to crack open a truly ancient text to ask some of the biggest questions there are. You know, the heavy hitters. What is this reality we're all living in? Who are we, really, underneath it all? And maybe the biggest one, what happens when this life is over? The answers we're going to explore might just change how you see, well, everything. So here's the setup. We're in the Bhagavad Gita, and a great warrior named Arjuna is on a battlefield, but he's completely frozen with doubt. So he turns to his charioteer, who, plot twist, is actually the god Krishna in disguise, and he asks these three massive questions. And let's be real, these are the questions that have probably kept every single one of us staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. at some point in our lives.
Krishna's first answer is about the big picture. He talks about something called Brahman. Think of it as the ultimate reality, kind of like the source code for the entire universe. It's the indestructible, unchanging, eternal foundation that everything, and I mean everything, comes from and everything eventually returns to. It's the one constant behind all the chaos and change.
Okay, so if Brahman is this vast, endless ocean of existence, then what are we? Well, Krishna says that inside each and every one of us is the Atman. It's your essential self. You can think of it like a divine spark, a single, tiny, but totally indestructible drop of that universal ocean. It's the real you, the part that was never born and can never, ever die. And this right here, this brings us to the central conflict of being human. We're not just one thing. We're this incredible mix of two completely different natures. You've got your temporary physical self that's always changing, your body, your thoughts, your emotions. And then you've got that eternal, divine self that is always completely the same.
The source material actually uses this brilliant modern analogy to make it super clear. The material part of you, your body, your personality, it's like the hardware of your phone. It's temporary, it gets outdated, it can break, but the divine you, the Atman, that's the core operating system. It's the essential, unchanging software that actually runs the whole show.
So here's the kicker. Where you put your focus in life, it matters more than anything. Every single thought you have, every action you take, every desire you feel, it's like you're feeding one of these two sides. So, are you spending your life focused on the temporary hardware? You know, the material world, the fleeting good times and bad times? Or are you trying to connect with that deeper, eternal operating system? And this all leads us to a really pivotal verse that is basically the key to this whole explainer. Krishna says that whatever state of being is habitual for you, whatever your mind keeps going back to day after day, year after year, that is the very state you're going to snap back to, especially in the most critical moment of all.
You see how this cause and effect chain works? It's incredible. Your lifelong habits, what you think about, what you do, they create your go-to state of consciousness. That deeply ingrained habit then determines your very last thought at the moment you leave your body. And according to the Gita, that one single thought is the ticket that determines your soul's next destination. It's like your entire life is just practice for that final moment.
So yeah, the stakes are pretty high, right? Based on that final thought, which is really just the grand total of your life's focus, every soul comes to a fork in the road, a great crossroads of destiny. And there are only two paths you can take.
The first choice is the path of light. If your life was basically a long meditation on remembering the eternal, on connecting with the divine, then you achieve liberation. You merge back with the source. Game over, you win. You don't return. The other choice is the path of darkness. If your focus was stuck on the material world, possessions, status, fleeting things, you're reborn into the cycle to try again. The source material has this fantastic analogy for this. Think of your soul like a library book you've borrowed from the universe. If you spend your whole life getting ramen noodle stains on it, crumpling the pages and breaking the spine, meaning you lived a purely material life, you can't just hand it back in that state. Nope. The universe says, you have to take it back and fix it. You get another lifetime to try and clean it up. So for a yogi, or really any spiritual seeker, the goal becomes crystal clear. It's a training regimen for the soul. The whole point is to make remembering the divine such a powerful, deep-seated habit that it becomes your default setting. You're constantly fighting off the distractions of the world so that in that one final, crucial moment, your focus is automatic. and you consciously choose that path of light.
Okay, but here's where things get a really interesting modern twist. For a long time, the goal was seen as simply escaping this material world, getting out of the vale of tears. But the lecture we're drawing from offers this really profound rethink of that ancient wisdom. It suggests the ultimate mission might have evolved.
And this quote just hits it perfectly. The point isn't that this world is some cosmic oopsie, some mistake that we need to get away from. No. The real mission, especially for us right now, is to transform the world by bringing our awareness of that divine reality into our daily, material lives.
So think of it this way. It's not about quitting the game of life. It's about fundamentally changing how you play. Once you realize your own eternal nature, that divine operating system inside you, you stop seeing the world as a prison you need to escape. Instead, you start to see it as a playground, a workshop, a place to express that divinity. And by doing that, you actually help transform the world itself.
And that really brings it all home, leaving us with one final, very powerful question. If the whole point of knowing these deep truths isn't just for our own personal get-out-of-jail-free card, but to actually transform the world we live in, then what does that look like for you? Right here, right now. How are you going to transform your world? How will you play the game differently?